What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Microstrategy, MSTX. So we're just going to be talking about some speculative ideas of what could happen, how high we could go at different prices, stuff like that. Pure speculation, and we'll just be talking about plans of what we should or shouldn't be doing after the fact, after you cash out, if you plan on cashing out, whether you want to rotate into MSTY or something like that, or continue to DCA into MSTR. So we'll talk about all of that. So as you can see here, we broke out of this long-term trend line here. We've had it established from March to the November 2021 highs to the March 2024 highs. And then we just got this bounce off of it. Strong move up, looking very bullish. So we're also just going to be breaking down what has happened in the past and what could possibly happen again. So on a monthly time frame, as you can see here, in this 2-month span, February to March, Bitcoin ran up about 75% roughly. These two candles. When you compare that to MSTR, remember it was 75% for Bitcoin. 75 for Bitcoin, and for MSTR, that was about 325, we'll just say. When you divide 325 by 75, MSTR outperformed Bitcoin by 4.3x. So at 4x Bitcoin, for easy numbers, MSTR 4x Bitcoin's 75% move, and it did 325. We saw the same thing happen again. Here from September, we're going to do a 3-month run up, September to November. We're not counting these because MicroStrategy was already falling December, January. So we're just going to run up to November. The peak right here was, we're going to say for easy numbers, 90%. When you divide 90% by what MSTR did, MSTR to the top was 375. We'll say for easy numbers, we'll just do 375. 375 divided by 90, and we're sitting at 4.16. So both times MSTR 4x'd Bitcoin's move. So it went up 90%, we 4x'd. It went up 75%, we 4x'd it. So, and this is what I mean when I say we get most of our gains towards the end of the moves. This last 3 candles here, most of them move. Last 3 candles here, most of them move. And I anticipate something similar happening here that maybe takes us to 1,000, 1,200, who knows? We don't know where the blow off top will be. We don't know how high the wick will go. Maybe it's something small like this. Who knows? But I definitely think once we start getting to this top part of this trend line, start looking to trim a little bit, at least a little bit. I'm not saying sell your whole stack or anything like that. And if you just want to accumulate MSTR forever and never sell, then you can do that too. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just going to be telling you what I'm doing along the way. Back to what we were saying. Bitcoin did 75%, MSTR did 325. Bitcoin did 90%, then MSTR did 375. And then we got this new instrument coming out, MSTX. And in that same period, hold on, let me make sure it's 3 months so we see it exactly. MSTX did 1350, we'll say. About 1350. So, in this same move, Bitcoin did 90%, MSTR did 375, MSTX did 1350. So, MSTX to MSTR's move did 3.6x. So MSTX did 1350, MSTR did 375. That's a 3x difference, 3.6 to be exact, but a 3x difference. And then when you compare MSTX to Bitcoin's move, that's a 15x. Bitcoin did 90%, MSTX did 1350. If that were, potentially, if that happens again, let's say we get up to, let's say we do another 90%. I could see that happening all over again. I could definitely see it happening again. Where it's remember, this isn't going to be exact, but maybe MSTX goes up 900%, or maybe it goes up 800 or 1200. Maybe it goes up even more. Who knows? But it's just to show you that this thing can perform higher than what it says it's going to do. Because remember, MSTX did 1350 while MSTR did 375. MSTX is designed to be a 2x move, but it did 3.6x. That's the beauty of the compounding leverage to the upside. Obviously, to the downside, it hurts a lot. But I just want you guys to be thinking and looking and not be surprised when you see something ridiculous. But the caveat is if you get these drawdowns in between, it can eat away at the overall gain on MSTX. As you can see, this move was a large pullback from top to bottom. We pulled down 90%. It's crazy. So that's going to have drag on the overall growth of the fund. But if you get those 2 or 3 months in a row of just non-stop green days and minimal pullbacks, this thing will be so much higher than we can ever anticipate. So just want you guys to think about that. We're going to compare this most recent move that we've had. It's been 4 weeks. So we'll look at MSTR. MSTR did up to 71%. So we'll just say 70%. This from this bottom here, 70%. MSTX has done 165. So far, we've only been 4 weeks into this move. MSTX has already done 2.35. 2.35x of what MSTR has done. It's designed to do 2x. But imagine if we get, 4 more weeks or 5 more weeks or 7 more weeks of green candles like this. The multiplier is going to go crazy. It's not going to be 2.35x anymore. It's going to be 2.7, 3.2. Who knows? It all depends on how high, how long, and how many pullbacks we get in between there. So definitely look at these charts and play around with them. Also look at the ballistic models. This saying that we hit $1,000 at 142,000. So I think we actually see it sooner because of the constant deviation. So it tends to deviate to the upside more when we're in the bull trend. It tends to deviate to the downside when we're in the down cycles or we're extremely overextended. After being extremely overextended for a little bit of time. But that initial day that we hit 140, it probably won't even be sitting at, or 142. Instead of it being at 1K, it might be sitting at like 1100 or something like that. Because it constantly just deviates to the upside. You can see currently the model showing 362 for BTC's price here, showing 362. We're sitting at 394. That's a 9.1% uptick. So imagine you had a 9% uptick on 143, or I'm sorry, on 1K MSTR. You're sitting at almost 1100. You're sitting at 1091. So I definitely see something like that happening towards the back end of the move. But I think it's going to be something nice to see for sure. And that's obviously me being super bullish. But whenever I do my models and stuff, I like to do it super simple and as realistic, and I like to lower the expectations as much as possible. I like to pretty much shoot low and then hopefully it lands higher than what I anticipate. I'm going to give you a simple idea of what I think if we were to hit 143. That would we'll just start from the bottom. But that's going to be roughly a 90% move. And then we're going to say, for simple numbers, we're not even going to say a 4x on MSTR, but it's probably going to 4x again. But we're going to say a 3x. We're going to do 270 on MSTR. 270. We're being conservative, of course, guys. This isn't what I'm saying is going to happen. So 270 and 270, and then we'll do a 2.5. 270 times 2.5 gives you 675. 675 takes you to 128. This is me being super conservative, saying that it's only going to go up to like 750 bucks, 800 bucks. But I think it's going to go higher. I think the multiple is going to be much higher. If we take the same example and we do 90% again, multiply it by 4, that's 360. 360 puts us at practically 1100. So 360, and then MSTX is going to do more than 2x. We can do a simple version of it. So we'll do the conservative version. So we're going to say MSTR did that, and then we're going to do 360 times 2 puts us at 720, which is at 135. And then if we do that same 360 by 3, which is very realistic, 360 times 3 puts us at 1080. 1080 will put you somewhere close to 193 bucks. And that's the exact same move and smaller percentages, smaller multipliers. But it's probably going to be like that, or maybe even more, because when you take a look at global liquidity, when you look at these legs that we've had recently, you can see that this is the largest leg that we've had. So what's to come? If this leg provided a 90% move, what do you think is going to come out of this one? And actually, if you take it all the way from the bottom, it's actually even higher than that. If you take it all the way to the top, it actually provided 107 for Bitcoin specifically. But if that provided a 107, and this leg on global liquidity is much shorter than this leg by easily 20%, I would say. What if we do that? What if we do 107 plus 20%, and that puts you at 128% roughly, of a move. And if we take 128 from the bottom, 128% from the bottom takes you to 170K roughly. So these are just speculative ideas, things to think about. Also, we need plans, after whether you're choosing to cash out. I feel like a lot of people want to, try to be partially correct in this move, and then try to reaccumulate in the following cycle, which I don't blame you, because a lot of people don't want to see their account, go up a ridiculous amount and then come crashing back down. Some people don't care because their average is just so low and they're just accumulating for the next cycle as well. So you have two kinds of people: some that are going to be selling selling up at as high as they think it's going to go, and you have the others that are just going to continue to accumulate all the way up here and all the way down and ride it out for the next 3 to 4 years, and then maybe sell there. But you want to have like a plan for when you cash out. Are you going to convert it all to Bitcoin? Are you just going to sit on your hands? Are you going to put it in a high yield savings account? That might be a good idea if you're fearful of a recession or something like that. Hey, I mean, if you made a ton of money here and you're in a high yield savings account just to be safe, it's okay if you miss some gains because you want it to be, cautious. That's all right. But just have a plan, some people might say, hey, I'm just going to full port MSTY. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. If MSTR is all the way up here and you're full porting MSTY, you're probably going to get crushed, if I'm being honest, once it takes a dip, I think, if it's up here, you might want to wait for that crash in 2026 or 2027, whenever that crash comes, more than likely mid 2026. And then you can start really going heavy into MSTY, or now, or the past couple weeks when it was down to like $18 or whatever it was at. So just come up with a plan, see if you want to go into traditional stocks or maybe something that's income focused. It all depends on your age and what you need in life. Are you trying to retire soon? Or do you see yourself working for another 30 years? If that's the case, then stay in growth focused stuff. So it's just ideas. Definitely come up with a plan so you know exactly, you want to be at least, 2 to 3 steps ahead. So like, all right, I'm planning on MSTR to make it to 1,000. I want to sell around there. And when I sell, I'm going to be putting my money into this. Take into account how much you're going to pay in taxes. Are you in a tax-free area? Are you in the US and you're going to get destroyed and get 35% tax rate, or whatever tax bracket you're in? Factor in your normal income plus your gains and all that. Just calculate all that stuff so you're ready to go. And then you can put that money aside, like the money that you assume that you're going to get taxed on. Always take out a little extra just in case. Put that in a high yield savings account. So when you go to pay taxes, at least the money you're going to pay in taxes is already building interest on top of it. So at least you have a little extra when you do go to pay taxes. Just little things like that. Just come up with a plan, guys. Just be ready. We'll see how everything plays out. I'm still very optimistic because of the global liquidity and the lag. I do think we're still in the early stages of this move. We've seen what happened in the last couple times that we've had spikes in global liquidity, and we've seen what happens when we've had this sideways and downturn in the global liquidity. And if you actually look too, the global liquidity was more sideways in this one. It wasn't as steep of a drop. So that's probably why MSTR's price was so well put together. It didn't really, it looked a lot neater and stayed together. It didn't look as aggressive. And when you look at this one, it was almost like it just fallen off a cliff. So I feel like that's kind of why we got that aggressive sell-off. But and actually too, you can see this hump here that you see before the full sell-off. We got that here in this large green candle. So things to look at, things to think about. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. See you guys in the next one.